You think you're just talking to yourself, just random thoughts, just passing time. But what if it's not random at all? What if the moments when you're alone, speaking out loud, are actually revealing something rare about you, something most people will never understand? Because most people are afraid to be alone with their own mind. You're not, and that changes everything. Look around. People are constantly distracted, scrolling, watching, escaping, filling every second with noise so they don't have to face themselves. Silence makes them uncomfortable. Being alone makes them anxious, so they run from it. They drown their thoughts before those thoughts can expose the truth. But you stay. You sit in that silence. You speak your thoughts out loud. You confront yourself, and that's where it begins. The first trait you have is self-awareness. When you talk to yourself, you're not just speaking, you're processing. You're questioning your actions. You're replaying decisions. You're asking yourself why you did what you did and why you keep repeating what you know is holding you back. Most people never reach that point. They live on autopilot. Wake up, scroll, eat, complain, sleep. No reflection, no awareness, no growth. But you interrupt that cycle. You force yourself to listen. And once you become aware, you can't go back. The second trait is mental discipline, because facing yourself is not easy. It's uncomfortable. You hear the excuses. You hear the lies. You hear the version of yourself that keeps choosing comfort over growth. And instead of ignoring it, you respond. You challenge it. You argue with it. That's not weakness. That's control. You're training your mind to not accept every thought as truth. You're building the ability to separate who you are from what you feel. And that's powerful. Because the person who can control their mind can control their life. The third trait is problem-solving ability. When you speak your thoughts out loud, something changes. Your mind slows down. Your thoughts become clearer. You start connecting things you didn't see before. You find patterns. You see your mistakes. You see solutions. While others wait for advice, wait for direction, wait for someone to save them, you sit alone and figure it out. You become your own mentor. And that's dangerous, in the best way. Because now you don't depend on motivation. You don't depend on others. You think, you decide, you act. And the fourth trait, the rarest one, is identity building. Every time you talk to yourself, you are shaping who you are. You're not just thinking, you're defining. You're telling yourself what you stand for, what you tolerate, what you refuse to accept anymore. You're creating rules, standards, a new version of you. Most people let the world define them. Social media, friends, opinions, trends. But you define yourself in silence. You decide who you are when no one is watching. And that is where real change happens. But here's the truth you need to hear. This ability you have, it's not enough on its own. Talking to yourself won't change your life. Understanding yourself won't change your life. Even realizing your patterns won't change your life. Action will. Discipline will. Consistency will. Because there are two types of people who talk to themselves. The first type reflects and then goes back to comfort. They think deeply, but act the same. They know the truth, but ignore it. They stay stuck. The second type uses those moments as a weapon. They take what they hear and they move. They act even when it's uncomfortable. They follow through even when they don't feel ready. They become what they keep telling themselves they should be. That's the difference. And right now, you're standing between those two versions. You already have the awareness. You already have the mindset. Now you need the discipline. Because if your actions don't match your thoughts, you're wasting your potential. Every time you say, I need to change, but don't move, you weaken your identity. Every time you promise yourself something and break it, you teach your mind that your words don't matter. And that's dangerous. So from this moment forward, you change the rules. When you talk to yourself, you listen. When you realize something, you act on it immediately. No delay, no excuses. You build a system. You create habits that force you forward. You choose discomfort on purpose. You stop negotiating with weakness. Because the goal is not to stay the same person who just thinks deeply. The goal is to become unrecognizable. A person who does what they say. A person who moves when it's hard. A person who doesn't need motivation because discipline has taken over. And it starts in the same place it always has. Alone, with your thoughts, with your voice. So the next time you catch yourself talking to yourself, don't ignore it. Don't laugh it off. Don't treat it like it means nothing. That's where your real self is speaking. And now you have a choice. You can keep talking, or you can finally become the person you keep describing.